What's going on, agents? Biz here with another Division 2 build video. With Season 4 and the Manhunt slowly marching on, it's no surprise that those really invested in the Division universe are looking for something to fill the downtime. Players are looking for the ultimate test of strength, mental fortitude, and... Wait, chicken dancing? Today we'll look at the Dark Zone in PvP. We'll go over some good tips that will help keep you vertical, along with a build that will help you keep up as well. As always, if you're new here, thanks for stopping by. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on bell notifications for all things Division 2, and maybe some other things shortly. I'm pretty sure you'll be doing it wrong if you miss out, as I'll be posting a little more frequently soon. With all that said though, let's get into it. For those coming into the channel and thinking, Biz, I have no idea what a Dark Zone is, let me take a second and get you up to speed. The Dark Zone is a PvE VP area that has served as the Division franchise's main source of player versus player action. Players can work together to farm loot and take down enemies, or decide to join in the collapse of civilization and ruin someone's loot run through going rogue. A timed activity where after a couple of minutes, the same government agency that disavows you will say, we're good, welcome back. This area also has claimed to have the best loot, but because the area is immune to Purell, all the loot has to be put on a special helicopter to be extracted before it can be used. Seems like a waste of taxpayer dollars, let alone what type of barter system are we using to commandeer helicopter fuel in the apocalypse? But I digress. Despite the Dark Zone being a den of thieves, the PvP can be a lot of fun in a group. It can also be exponentially more fun if you know what you're doing. With that said, here are a couple pointers to help make your time in the Dark Zone a little brighter. Tip number 1, know the counters. As we all know in this channel, the true end game in the Division is talking smack on other people's builds. In the DZ, this smack talk turns more into John King's analyzation of election night in America. Think of the build aspect like a complex game of rock, paper, scissors. Each thing can get beat by something else in the DZ. It's your job as the player to sort that out and exploit the opposing team's weaknesses. Are the players using status effect builds? Go to a hazard protection build and negate their advances. Skill or shield builds in your way? Hit a jammer pulse and take their offense off the table. Just about everything can be countered. Take some time and think before you run out guns blazing with the same build every time. Tip number 2, know the routes. Sometimes, especially when rogue, switching a build will be off the table to counter another player. When this happens, it's time to bug out and fight them in familiar territory. Any tactician will agree that even a small amount of situational awareness of your surroundings can turn the tide in any battle. Knowing where you can bottleneck, or even knowing which cover you can actually use, will be a matter of life and death when a sweaty 4-stack comes knocking. If you haven't already, take the time and explore the Dark Zones so you know these spots. A little scouting will go a long way. Tip number 3, be a good sport. Now this can be said about any game, virtual or not, but especially rings true in the Dark Zone. When you enter this area, be sure to let go of your ego, as anything can happen. Granted, nothing is worse than getting shot in the back when looking at a map or a piece of gear, but at the end of the day, it's just a game. Walking in that awareness will be the difference between having a good time with your buds and being another Redditor pouting about losing a god roll, claiming they're going to delete the game or stop covering it. In true Biz fashion, I did promise a build to help those starting out. This build is good bones, and I hope you guys will take this build and modify it to how you play. Fair warning, some of the footage used in this video has not been this build as I was countering. Remember tip number 1. But it does rip, and it could be a good baseline to start from. So this build is a really easy crit build to put together. It's a 4 red, 2 blue core with all red attributes. We also went with the gunner specialization for the armor on kill, the med kit, and Banshee Pulse. For weapons, we have the named Vector, Dark Winter for the primary. Its perfect killer talent will give us 50% extra crit hit damage for 10 seconds after a kill. As for the secondary, you can do whatever you're comfortable with. For me, I went with an AR I found in my stash. This one has Measured on it, which is a really good talent in the game, but especially in PvP. Also worth noting, damage out of cover will be your best friend in PvP, as no one plays in cover. No one. For the gear, we went with a 3-piece Providence, mostly for the crit chance and damage. We also threw a Sokolov piece for extra SMG damage, and a Seska Grupo combo for even more crit chance and damage. When it came to the chest and backpack talent, we continued to lean in on damage. We used Obliterate on the chest, which gives extra weapon damage for crit hit, stacking 25 times. We also went with Vigilance on the backpack, where weapon damage is increased by 25% when not getting hit. Skill-wise, to support the not getting hit side of this build, I went with a Banshee Pulse and a Decoy. A Decoy is probably your best friend in the DZ, as it will draw fire from literally anything around you. The Banshee Pulse is nice to also get a few early hits on enemies as well. Now before leaving, we have had some submissions for a segment we call Handling Business. If you have a video of you doing something cool in Division 2, send it to me on Twitter at HeyIt'sBusiness using the hashtag HandlingBusiness. You can be featured, and who doesn't want to be a YouTube star? And that will wrap things up here. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me and what I'm trying to do here. Also, if you're looking for people to game with, check out the community I run with over at discord.gg/rapturegaming. We play this and all other AAA titles, and we'd love to have you. Have a good day. Biz out.